here now. I'm joined from London by Mr. Andrew Donkin, my partner in crime. We've done several books together. Most famously, I suppose, this one.
Have I here too? Hello.
We should have done a fancy thing there where I passed that up to you and then you just kind of.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll just take it down. There it is.
Okay. And then
I'll give it back to you. There you go.
Okay.
I've got 2 copies.
That did not work at all. I say Steven Spielberg is very worried at this point if he ever sees that video. So our best and most successful one was Illegal, which Andrew and I co-wrote. And there was also, I believe, an artist involved. I don't remember much about him.
I believe it was a very talented artist, but I forget, he's called Giovanni Rigano.
Giovanni Rigano.
And he's fantastic.
Do you remember the time we did the reading? I forget where it was in the States, and the lady made a total mess of our names.
Yeah. It wasn't the States. It was a festival that I won't name in England, and the lady doing it said, "And now we have 3 people to talk about Illegal. We're very glad they're here. We've got Mr. Uhrenkofer," right, as if she'd been kicked in the groin. Mr. Uhrenkofer. I thought, blow it. And they said, and his co-writer, Mr. Andrew Diddlykins. I don't know. I don't know where you get 2 extra syllables from. Mr. Andrew Diddlykins. Okay. And then you and I looked at each other to say, crikey, that's an interesting pronunciation. What will she do with Giovanni's name?
Italian, what will she do?
Mr. Uhrenkofer, Andrew Diddlykins, and then absolutely perfect Italian accent. She said, and then Mr. Giovanni Rigano. He was the only one that she got right.
I think Diddlykins is very Dickensian.
Diddlykins. I know, I use that when I sign checks.
Yeah, Mr. Diddlykins, the Undertaker. I think that would be a good...
Yeah, no, absolutely. Merry Christmas to you.
Oh, Merry Christmas to you and the family. Unfortunately,
Merry Christmas to Mr. Diddlykins on this side of the pond.
And Mrs. Colfer. But at least we got to travel, and unfortunately we were supposed to go out together for this and the tie-in with the movie, but it didn't happen. So we didn't get to go out together this year. So we're going to talk about it in the Fowl Christmas special. So, Guide to the World of Fairies by your good self, Andrew Donkin, and you probably know as much, or if not more, about the Fowl world than me. But there must have been a lot of pressure on you. Like, were you overawed coming into the world of me?
as any normal human being, as any normal mere mortal would be. Overall. Obviously, yes. You know,
I can still see you, but never mind.
Well, the good thing was, the lovely thing about doing that was because we'd done 4 Artemis Fowl graphic novels, already set in the world of Artemis Fowl, and we talked about when we were beginning to do those that it would be great to have a few extra pages here and there that fill in a little bit of story you don't get from the novels. So when proper fans are reading it and they think they know, there's a little bit extra, and we had some extra fact files and stuff, didn't we? Which took a lot. I had to read all of your books to find that stuff out. I know, imagine that. I never told you at the time, but I actually had to read all of them. So I kind of already knew quite a lot, and it was a great pleasure. It's like if someone says to you, you can play in the Star Wars universe or something. It was a great pleasure when when Disney said, well, can you come and can you write a guide to the world of Artemis Fowl and all the strange creatures? And the main thing that I wanted it to be was funny, because what people love about your books and all that, it's the humor and stuff. And when people do very dry versions of things, and it could have been I don't want it to be a very dry Lord of the Rings style, and this is an underground troll, he is 7 feet tall as opposed to 6.5 feet tall, because that's just so dull. And the thing that all the fans and all the readers and everybody loves about Artemis is the humor and the gang. And so the first thing that I said is, well, if we're going to do that, and I'm saying to you, can we do it from the point of view of a character? So it's not It's not neutrally written from my point of view. So the whole thing of this is written from the point of view of either Mulch Diggums, who pops up with stick it notes like this, saying, oh, well, people have got this wrong, and his brother Nord. So the idea of this book, the conceit is that this has been illegally written by Noel Diggins to be sold to an above-ground publisher. And the whole thing is not a straight take on Artemis Fowl's world. It's all from the point of view of Noel and his partner in crime, Mulch Diggins, which are really alter egos, I think, for the two of us behaving badly.
Yes, I think so. And I do think that's why it works so well. And it really does work phenomenally well. It's because it's not it's not an encyclopedia. It's kind of subversive, and it's there's a little, it tinges of, it's illegal. It shouldn't be out in the world, but it is. So you get, I think young people reading, you get the feeling of, oh, this is a secret document. I shouldn't be reading this. And it's really funny. I wonder, would you give us a little reading from any
Sure. I have to say that when there was a readers' poll on why, I think the secret document thing is very valid, and that is what loads of people love about it. But I think the thing that most people love about it is the author photo there. That's apparently the thing that's moving it off the shelf.
Is that on your outdoor bathroom toilet? That's
that is. I've photoshopped the B-Day out, so it just looks like Lake Como. And the thing I was really pleased about,
you got to go to Lake Como. I didn't.
We can just kind of say this to Fowl fans, but it's got to stay between you and me and just Artemis Fowl fans, which is that when they asked us to do this, Disney was saying the movie's going to be a massive thing. The movie's going to be a massive thing, and we thought, okay, that's great. The movie's going to be a massive thing, but this is solely really about the books. It's the universe of the books, and Root is unsexed in it deliberately, and it's just about the books, kind of really. So if you're into the Artemis Fowl books, then this is a really brilliant look behind the scenes.
Absolutely. Okay, take it away, Mr. Donkin.
Oh, okay. So this is just going to be a page at the very introduction, if I can find it. This is Nord Diggins writing, who is Mulch's cousin. Sometimes Mulch pretends to be him for the various crime type reasons, but they've teamed up. This is the introduction to Guide to the World of Fairies, Artemis Fowl's world. Dear mud person, yes, I mean you. Yes, you human. That's what we call you, mud people, because, well, you live in it, I suppose, or on the mud. Prepare to have your mind completely blown. This book is going to change everything you think you know about the world. I mean, everything. Remember all those stories about elves, dwarfs, goblins, and trolls? You've probably heard them from your mud parents when you were little and then forgot all about them. Well, guess what? They're all true, every single one of them. Those creatures all exist right under your feet as part of a hidden fairy civilization kept secret from you. Thousands of fairies living together in underground cities full of amazing technology and fantastic food. Its very existence is classified top secret from humans. But for now, this book, my book, is going to blow the lid off that secret once and for all. An organization calling themselves the Lower Elements Police, LEP, has stopped all fairy contact with mud people for many centuries. Any non-official fairy creature that attempts to get to the surface, like Holly did in book one, like the troll did and Holly intercepts, finds themselves stopped and captured by the dreaded LEP, as represented by Holly Short in the first book. We can be imprisoned for just trying to observe a mudman in their natural habitat. Well, I want to change all that. My name is Nor Diggins. I am a dwarf, and I am widely regarded underground as the most handsome tunneler of my generation. By bringing this hitherto classified information to the attention of the mud person world, I want it to be known that I am placing myself in extreme danger of losing my freedom and spending the rest of my days in a cell in the notoriously terrible Howler's Peak prison. I know, pretty selfless of me, right? I'm sure you are thinking that the only suitable way for the Mudman civilization to repay my selfless actions would be to make me the most famous, most adored, and wealthiest person on the planet. That would be nice, but of course, it really wouldn't be my place to say. To date, only a handful of mud people know the truth. This book is not afraid to name names, or name objects, or name anything really, but I digress. One of the people in the know is a juvenile criminal mastermind called Artemis Fowl, who, along with his bodyguard Butler, enacted a plan to revive his family's fortunes by kidnapping a fairy and holding her for ransom. What happens next, and the exploits of LEP officer Holly Short and her boss, Commander Root, are known to the people, as we call ourselves, underground, but not to humans. Yet my hope is that with the publication of Guide to the World of Fairies, stories such as theirs and many others will be forced out onto the surface. if someone is going to make a huge fortune from exposing the existence of fairies, then surely it should be a fairy, or more specifically, the world's most handsome tunneling dwarf.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. That's a great start. It's kind of, it makes you want to read on. Well, I think we should probably go and discuss our top secret next book, which we are currently.
Yeah, we should. Just also what we should just slightly do is just say that this book has got all kinds of amazing artwork, which was all specially commissioned for it. So you get to see some of the stuff that happens in the world of Artemis before the books begin, when the fairies used to be up above ground 10,000, 15,000 years ago, as well as lots of close-ups of all the kind of regular characters and demonstrations and cut-throughs about how tunneling dwarves work. For example, here's a very grotesque, disgusting cut-through of how tunneling dwarves actually work. So there's all sorts of goodies in here. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was just saying we should go and talk about our next book. I said it's top secret, but we've already announced the name. It's called Global, and it's a graphic novel about global warming and how it affects the most vulnerable children on Earth. So that is it's spiritually the follow-up to Illegal, and it will be out next year. So
same format, same artists, same companies, and same team.
It's looking really good. I think it looks great so far, and it really rattles along. But it's an important story, but a gripping story, which I think is vital.
As ever, it's an honor to work with a co-author as handsome as yourself.
Oh, and right back at you. I mean, I think we are blending into each other as the grey-haired and the beards and the specs. So
yeah. You need to change that. If you had a white shirt on, then you could be like the ghost of Obi-Wan. Then you could sit there and do that effect where people can see through you. I think you could do that. You wouldn't need an effect. You would just.
I tell you what. I should see if I have a videographer doing this, Jamie. Maybe he can kind of blur us out like Jedi at the end, and we could just smile and nod and go. So if you just nod a little bit, I will stop the recording.
Nod and look wide. There we go. Here's the Force, Luke. Here's the Force.